Hi there, thanks for joining me. So today, what I'd like to talk about is just some more techniques for figuring out text encodings for these old video games. Specifically, I've been dumping a bunch of scripts for PC Engine games, and I haven't found the scripts encoding, text encoding for every single PC Engine game that I've tried, but I've managed to sort out a bunch of them, and on just a couple of these, I've had a bit of trouble getting a relative search match on the Japanese kana alphabet, the Japanese kana character set. That is what I have been, in my previous videos showing you guys how to do, and so I realized that I should show you guys, what I think was kind of an original way that people would do this searching, because I'm relatively versed in Japanese, and I'm pretty comfortable just like doing my relative searches on the Japanese kana alphabet, but doing relative searches on the English alphabet can be really useful, and I mean probably quite a few people are going to be more comfortable doing that. Now, of course, there are limitations to this, but I actually used this for Necros no Yosai. So let me show you what I did with this. So we're going to go to YY I am assuming that's how you would say that. We're going to open up Necros no Yosai. We're going to put this on 1 bit per pixel, and I'm still a little embarrassed about, I don't know, I got talking about RGB values or something. That it's just not how this works. It basically works on numbers. 1 bit is 2 values, 2 different colors, right? So 2 bit is 4 values, 4 different colors. 3 bit is 8 values, 8 different colors, etc., etc. Now, I think I just blew past the font. Here it is. Okay, so the nice thing with this game is we can find the font. Okay, so that's important. I mean, if you don't have access to these tiles, you can't do something like this, and you're gonna have to figure something else out anyway. But so I really don't know why a relative search on these kana characters wasn't coming up. This is an absolute standard normal order for kana characters. The text encoding I don't think was weird, but it wasn't working for me. So what I decided to do is, let's use the English alphabet, and this game has an English alphabet in it already. Now, if your game didn't have an English alphabet in it, you open up another instance of your tile editor here, and you open up another game that does have an English alphabet in it, or you open up just some file that has 1 bit per pixel alphabet written out in it anyway. But this one has it in it already, so we're just going to use it. Okay. Now, what I'm doing is I'm just copy pasting. I'm using the keyboard Control C, Control V, and we've just zoomed in here, so this is picking 4 tiles at a time. We could do it where it's just 1 tile at a time, but obviously 4 tiles at a time. It just saves us some time. We're going to copy. This is showing us our clipboard, and then we're going to paste over here. Okay, so A is going over A, B is going over E, and we're just going to keep going here, copying from one part of the screen to the other. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Okay, you can figure out how this goes. Get those last 2 in there. Get those ones in there. Okay, so now over top of these Japanese characters, we have the full English alphabet, and so what we're going to do now is we're going to open up our game. We're going to save this, right? So File, Save As, and we'll call this. We've already got an edit 2, so let's just call this edit 3. We're going to open it up. And what we're going to look for is some sort of consecutive string of English characters. All right, that seems kind of loud. I don't know if I can change it. Anyway, Great, good, hush. Okay, so here it is, and let's go ahead. Let me see if I can instance this this emulator. I can. Okay, so we're instancing the emulator. There we go. So what we can see is, because we've overwritten these Japanese characters, this Saikai no Uta has become KBF BYCP. Okay? Now, a couple things that this lets, I guess one thing that this lets us do is open up a hex editor like WindHex that I'm using, and we're going to file open, what is this, PCE Necros no Yosai, and we're going to search for, now when we do the relative search, okay, I think I had mentioned before that this is probably for relative, and again I screwed this up, it's for relative searching the English alphabet. I think before I said ASCII, which doesn't make any sense. That's a text encoding. The English alphabet is what I meant. So we're gonna look for K B F B Y C P. Okay. Well, we've actually found a number of it, but here's the interesting thing. So we've found this particular phrase at a bunch of different offsets here, right? But this actually over here is giving us what the values are. Okay, so it's saying is that our alphabet, our English alphabet, the letter A is the value 71 based on what we've found the values of K, B, F, B, Y, C, and P to be, okay? So we can just use 71 in this case being our A. So since 71 is A over here, right, that used to be the Japanese character A, alright, so we could go right into our table helper. And you guys aren't going to have access to Table Helper because this is a program that I wrote myself just for helping me make table files. That's why it is called Table Helper. And what is this? Is that what this was? 41? No, 71. So we'll put in 71. But you could just type this out yourself, right? You just type a 71 and then you type the letter, A, and then you type 72 and you type the letter E, Japanese E. Anyway, so we're going to save this. We're going to go over here. We're going to reload this, and we've got IUAO. This is the whole Kana alphabet starting at 71. So, and you can probably do this. I think WindHex has, some sort of table, like make a table file based on these values. So we're just going to do it like this. We're going to save it the way that I normally do, which is like this. File, save as, make it Shift.js for WindHex. Call it, this is just like something we're doing for this, so we're going to call it temp table.tbl, and we're going to save that in Necros no Yosai. I've been working on a lot of games here, so there it is, temp table. Okay, so now we're going to say file, open table file, temp table. What were we looking at? We were looking at Saikai no Uta. Let me just search for that. Right, there we go. Saikai no Uta. Alright, we'll copy this up to the top and we'll search Kana. Bang. There it is. Okay. So yeah, so you can see, like this was a way we could use the English alphabet to figure out, through relative searching, the Japanese alphabet. The start of this is not obviously our whole text encoding, but from this we can figure it out. Let me redo this, because we saw that this appeared several times. I have a feeling one of these times it's going to look a little bit more like a menu. Yeah, so here we've got this. This is the Bo U Ken O Hajimeru. And so just the spots that we're missing here, of course, are the diacritical mark here, which is DE, and then what is it? I'm not sure what 6 is in this context. Haji, and that's the diacritical mark again. But at any rate, so we can see this is this menu, right? Okay, so we can use this to actually like figure out more of the text encoding. You know, we've sort of cracked the code here, so to speak. So yeah, so that's a super useful thing. So the other thing that made me think of this that I wanted to talk about is this other game, Racing Damashi. Okay, same thing. I did like a Kana search, and it just wasn't coming up with like, you know, Yoshiyuki or Takashima or something like that. So I was like, well, hey, IREM is in here, right? So let's try that. So this becomes even easier because this is English language text, right? This is the English alphabet. So let's just search on that. That's already built into our hex editor here. And so we're going to relative search, okay, and we're going to do it on IREM. And here we've seen this also come up a bunch of times. And again, we can see that WindHex is just telling us, hey, based on the values for I, R, E, and M, the value for A is 41. Okay, so we can actually you know, jump to one of these here if we want. We're going to go ahead and go to our table helper. We're going to say 41 is A. Oop. Save that. We'll go here and run it. We'll get 41 through 5A. We'll go over here, we'll paste it in, and we'll save as. And that was in racing. So we will also call this temp table.tbl. Okay, so here we've got our racing Damashi. We're going to open our temp table file, and now we see IREM. Okay, so what we would be looking for in this case to help us then decode the Japanese text encoding is this particular IREM, you know, that has team and then Kantoku space Takashima space Yoshiyuki. So that's not this, because this has this other stuff. So let's find it again. F3. Okay. Oh, here we go. IREM. Okay, so let's check this one out. We're going to look at the values, of course. So what we're looking for is something that looks like. So if we go back here, we get 2O, which could be our space. Then we get D1, BO, C1. Now what we're looking at specifically, we don't know what this punctuation might be, but D1 and C1 should have like a relationship to each other in terms of like, you know, the katakana portion of the kana text, you know, chi and mu, like should be, you know, somewhat close to each other is all I'm saying. So, you know, C1 and D1 are kind of like within the same, you know, series of values that would probably could be those. So that's really promising. We have IREM, and then here we get FF, which is actually really promising because that is probably a break character just saying, hey, break down to the next line down here. So, you know, now we're really curious, okay, well, if that's the case, then what? So we've got FC, B6, DD, C4, B8, and then a 2O. So if that's the case, these four characters, right, B6, DD, C4, and B8 are probably Cotton Toku, and then 2O would be another space. So we've seen something that corroborates what we thought was going on up here with a space right before IREM. So that's kind of useful. And then after that we have CO, B6, BC, and CF. So are any of these characters the same between these two words or strings? And they are. There's a ka at the beginning of this word, which is B6. So this ka, what would be this ka in the other word is that a B6. So we go over here, here's the space, CO, B6. So we are looking at this text in the game, okay? And from that, of course, we can figure out the actual, text encoding. For instance, this what is this, C? Well, we could use this B6 if we want. That's the letter ka. So again, we would use our little table helper. That's why I wrote it like this, because it's really useful. I can take an arbitrary value from the middle of the character set and just say, okay, we know the value for ka. We think we know the value for ka. Here is B6, and we can go to table helper, put in ka, put in B6, and then save. And we're going to get we're going to look at the completely wrong screen. We're going to get this. There we go. Okay, so our English alphabet was correct. So we've now been able to add the hiragana set, and who knows, does O show up here at DD or not? We'll find out as we explore this a little bit more. But I'm gonna file, open table file. This should be, mostly correct. And so what we see here is, of course, we have IREM, we have this stuff, and then we have, okay, we've got ka, o, to, ku. So that was actually, pretty spot on there. Is this o actually doesn't appear here. The appears there. So we're gonna just for now, change that. We'll open the table file, and we can see there that we're getting pretty close. Our 2O is our space. We'll put that in. A2O equals K space, file table, and suddenly we're getting pretty close here. Okay, even this chi mu. All right, so unfortunately, this is the hiragana. All right, chi and mu. So probably there's something here like this FD maybe is a switch, perhaps, to switch this to use the katakana tile set. So maybe this IREM just sort of ignores that, and then we maybe switch back to using the hiragana set with this FC, and then we keep going here. Now that we're on the hiragana set, cotton, toku, space, taka, shima, space, yoshi, yuki, then we get our break character. Now we get FD, and that was what we thought is our switch to katakana. So let's see, do we start doing katakana after that? Yes, we do. Me, ka, ni, and obviously AF is this small su, which we can put into our table file, space, and then we get an FC to switch it back to hiragana, which is of course what happens there, kita no nori hiko. So yeah, we've now figured out a lot more about our text encoding. We use some switch bytes here to swap between hiragana and katakana character, tile sets. And when I dump this, I don't even necessarily need to account for that, as long as the only difference in the character sets is that one is katakana and one is hiragana. They're pronounced the same, so I can deal with translating the katakana in the hiragana script. But I just wanted to share that with you guys, so you can see a little bit how you can do some relative searching on the English alphabet and actually figure out Japanese text encodings that way. I hope that this was helpful, and I hope you'll join me again for some more videos about hacking these old games, and I've got a a quarterly update here, probably coming up pretty soon. I did get over my slump in a couple ways. I think I'm a little bit reinvigorated for both translating, but especially dumping scripts. I've dumped a ton of scripts, so we'll talk about that more in a couple weeks. I hope you'll join me then. Take care.